Okay, Van Baruch, nice to have you. Eson Moshe Vecha, nice to have you. And Meli, nice to have you. Meli, what's your actual Hebrew name?
Elimelech.
Elimelech, yeah, figured. Shalom Aleichem. Okay, and welcome to all. Now, Rabbi say we're doing Derech Mitzvah Hatefilla. If you need me to send you the source material, the PDF, I could do that. I can actually probably do it right away. Do you have
it? I'm going to grab it. Sefer right now.
Sorry?
I'm going to go grab it.
Okay.
Sefer.
Meli, you have a Sefer?
Which?
Derech Mitzvah Hatefilla.
What is that?
It's a book of Chassidus from the Tzemach Tzedek. I guess I can send it to you. You know what? You probably have it at home. You can ask. The truth of the matter is, if you just want to listen, you could listen. It's not an imperative. The world is not going to go under if you don't look inside. Avan Baruch, was machst du?
I'm doing good.
What are your summer plans?
YSP.
Are you going to Marstown? When are they starting?
Pennsylvania.
Oh, they moved it. When are they starting it?
That's of Thomas.
Oh, wow. Okay, we'll enjoy you while we have you. Or maybe we'll enjoy you even in camp. Okay, Rabbi said we're on page... Pardon me?
Are you able to connect in camp?
That's a good point.
Phone.
Okay. Okay, Rabbi said page 238. Page 238. Yesterday I gave a class to the whole world and to the screen, but I didn't see any bodies, which makes it much more difficult, actually. And I'll tell you briefly what I talked about yesterday, because I'm sort of like in the middle of something, and then I'm going to proceed. This maimer is a very long maimer. And of course, as you can see, it's a maimer about davening. And at least the beginning of it is about the comparing and contrasting davening to saying Shema. Every day we daven and every day we say Shema. The Chazal were keveh, the rabbis decided at a certain point, I'm not sure exactly when, that we should do them together. Even though Shema is one mitzvah and Shemini Esrei is a different mitzvah, Shema is a deiraisa, Shemini Esrei may not be a deiraisa. The Chazal decided that we should do what's called smichas geula letfila. We should join Birchas Kriya Shema and Kriya Shema with Shemini Esrei, and we should do them both together. And the Tzemach Tzedek gave us a long introduction about Lechavim B'Shem, about Yechudim. I'm not going to repeat all of that stuff. But after the long introduction, he decided it was time to get to the point. And the point is, what is the meaning of the interface? What is the meaning of the fact that the way we daven each day is that we start with Shema and then we immediately follow with Shemini Esrei? And in yesterday's class, he already told us what that is. And what he told us was that, to use the Hebrew words, if you're looking on page 238, it's about, I would guesstimate 12 lines from the bottom. 13 lines from the bottom, it says, the second word on the line, Lahamshech ha'ara mimakoira dekula. Kriyas Shema is to bring down a light from the source of everything. That means directly from Hashem. Okay? Now, Shemini Esrei, if you look, I'll give you how many lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do 8 lines from the bottom of the page. It says, Ha'arazu b'chlal ayadei Kriya Shema anu mamshichim giluya b'pratiyas b'chol hayud tzfires ayadei b'chai b'rchon d'Shemini Esrei. Kriya Shema, we touch Hashem, so to speak, as He is by Himself. And in Shemini Esrei, we bring down the light of Hashem, which in the Kriyas Shema, we only bring down in general. And in Shemini Esrei, we bring it down more specifically. In other words, when you say Shema, you're crying out to Atzmus, for lack of words. When you're saying Shemona Esrei, you're bringing down a light from Atzmos into the Kelim of Atzilus, which is very, very, very important, because in order for us to get our prayers answered, this was the point of this entire introduction. In order for us to get our prayers answered, even though Hashem can answer our prayers no matter what, but in all likelihood, in order for us to get answers to our prayers, we have to go, so to speak, we have to bring a lakus into the Sfiris of Atzilus, Lechavim B'Shem, and then the Eibishter responds. So now we're holding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 lines from the bottom of page 238 at the end of the line, where it says, V'zeu ikir hapirush b'maimer hasifri elav alayla midaysav. What we're going to be reading in these few lines, we already discussed at length in earlier classes, but we're going to go over it again, at least basically, as it ties into Kriyas Shema Shemona Esrei. The pasuk says, "B'chol karenu elav." B'chol karenu elav means whenever we call Hashem, we should be calling Him. Right? In other words, you talk to the Eibush, you don't talk to anybody else. The Rambam writes that one of the 13 principles of faith is the belief that A, you have to daven to Hashem, but B, the only entity that can help you if you were to daven to Him would be Hashem. Davening to anything but Hashem would be Avodah Zarah, and it would be useless. You daven only to the Eibishter. This is the Ikar HaChamishi, it's the 5th of the 13 principles of faith, that you daven only to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And the expression in the Medrash that supports this is Eilav Alayla Midaysav. To Him, you daven to Hashem, but Alayla Midaysav, you don't daven to His Midas, to His Sfiras. Now, in the Maimed that we learned until now, in the last 10 parakim of the Maimed, the Rebbe explained the words Eilav Alayla Midaysav in 2 different ways. One way dominated the discussion, was a long arichas, and the other way was rather concise. It was a very short little discussion. The discussion that was dominant, the arichas dike discussion, the long discussion, was that even though when a Yid davens to the Eibishter and he wants his prayers answered, he has to be mechaven b'shem, he has to have kavanah to the midas of Atzilus, to the spheres of Atzilus. Nevertheless, we say, Eilav Alayla Midaysav. You're not davening to the midas of Atzilus. That would be, in the words of Tzemach Tzedek, davening to a God that's not God. You have to daven to the Ein Sof, to the godliness which is mislabish in the spheres. This the Rebbe said, the Tzemach Tzedek said it, I'll tell you exactly where it is. It's the beginning and the hemshech of Perek Zayin. In the beginning of Perek Zayin, the Tzemach Tzedek said, V'sach Eilav Alayla Midaysav, that you're davening not to the midas, you're not davening to chesed, you're not davening to gevura, that would be terrible. You're davening to the Ein Sof, which is mislabish and chesed. However, at the end of Perek Zayin, the Tzemach Tzedek said something different. Tzemach Tzedek said that what's the meaning of Eilav Alayla Midaysav? You're davening to Hashem as He is by Himself, not how Hashem comes into the midas and the spheres. So there's 2 definitions of Eilav Alayla Midaysav. The first definition of Eilav Alayla Midaysav is we're davening to Lakus, which is mislabish in the spheres, but you're davening to the Lakus and not to the midas and the spheres. The second definition of Eilav Alayla Midaysav, you're talking to Hashem, which is higher than spheres. So the Tzemach Tzedek now explains. When you say Kriyas Shema, Eilav Alayla Midaysav means you're davening to Hashem that's above the midas and the spheres. When you say Shemona Esrei, the meaning of Eilav Alayla Midaysav is that you're davening to Taka to the Elokus, which is mislabish in the spheres, but you're davening to the Elokus of the spheres and not to the spheres themselves. I'm going to read it inside. V'zehu ikir hapirush. And this is the real taich, or the more important taich, of the Maimer HaSifri, when it says in Medrash, it says in Sifri, Eilav Alayla Midaysav, that you daven to Hashem, and you shouldn't daven to His midas. Hainu, this means Eilav Mamish. Hashem Mamish. V'hu, this means in other words, Muhusei, V'atzmusei Yizbarech. Right? What's Muhus and what's Atzmus? No one knows the translation of these words, but my translation of Hus means the substance of, and Atzmus means in relationship with self. The substance of Hashem as He exists in relationship with Himself. The Eibishter Himself. Shalamayle Gamken Meha, which is higher even than the light. Hamalubeshes b'yud spheres, it goes into the 10 spheres. V'hainu b'kriyas Shema. This is what happens when we say Shema, she'oz kavana, saying that our kavana then is, lahamshach aram yisham mamish, to bring down a light from there. In short, Shema is higher than Shemini Esrei. It's very simple. Shema is higher than Shemini Esrei. Kriyas Shema sets up Shemini Esrei. Kriyas Shema sets up Shemini Esrei. You can't have Shemini Esrei without Krishma first. Why? Because Krishma, you're crying out to Hashem, and Shema, you're, so to speak, bringing down the Hashem to whom you cried in Kriyas Shema into Kalim. Okay? Now, on this page, what I read yesterday, and I'm sort of continuing today, the impression is that in Kriyas Shema we're bringing down what's called the Hamshacha Klolis, and in Shemini Esrei we're bringing down the Hamshacha Pratis. But the way I explained it to you before, and I stand by it, I don't think they're contradictory.
Rabbi.
Yes.
You're talking about the Kriyas Shema where you, in the morning?
I'm talking about Kriyas Shema in davening. The way the davening is designed, it's a ladder. Sula mutzav artzav eroishe magia hashamayim. It's a ladder that stands on the ground and reaches up into the heavens. So there's 4 parts to that ladder, or more. The first part of that ladder is until Baruch Shama. The second part of that ladder is from Baruch Shama till Yishtabach. The third part of that ladder is from Yetzer Eid until Gal Yisrael. And the fourth part of that ladder is Shemini Esrei. Now, the way I understand it, and my understanding is very limited, but the way I understand it, these 4 steps of the ladder, once upon a time were 4 separate things. In the times that the second Beis HaMikdash, people davened, okay? After the second Beis HaMikdash was destroyed, people davened. Today, people are davening. The Siddur goes back to the beginning of the second Beis HaMikdash, okay? The very beginning of the second Beis HaMikdash, they made a Siddur. But a lot of things changed over time in the Siddur, okay? One of them is, and this is how I understand it, I could be wrong, could be the Anshakats like they will attack this already, that you take 4 different mitzvahs, the mitzvah of speaking about karbanos, which is the same thing as bringing karbanos, the mitzvah of praising Hashem, the mitzvah of saying Shema, and the mitzvah of asking Hashem for your needs, which are from Matoivu till Haidu, till Baruch Shama, from Baruch Shama till Yishtabach, from Yetzer till Shemini Esrei, and then Shemini Esrei itself, and you put them together. The Chazal decided to make a ladder out of it. They took 4 separate mitzvahs. Davening is a mitzvah. Saying Shema is a mitzvah. Praising Hashem, however you're going to understand it, is a mitzvah. They're separate things. And there was a time, way back when, at least in theory, when any time during the day you said Baruch She'amar, you said Asher Yesh V'Secha, you said Pesach Es Yadecha, you did say as Yasher, you didn't say Yasher, you said Yishtabach, you Mekayim 1 mitzvah. At a different time of day, you would say Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech HaMeitzah V'Erech HaYishach, Eis Shal V'Eis HaKel V'Amei Elo Aretz. You would say Shema until Gal Yisrael, and that was the second mitzvah. At a different time of the day, you would stand up, put your feet together, and talk softly, like the Gemara says, and say Shemini Esrei. They're separate mitzvahs, and it was decided to join them. The advantage of joining them is that they support each other. In other words, A brings to B, and B brings to C, and C brings to D. You understand? And in Kabbalah terms, this is 4 worlds. Karbanos is Asiyah, Baruch She'amar till Yishtabach, which is called Psukei de Zimra, is Yetzirah. The blessings of the Shema and the Shema would be Bria, and the Shemini Esrei would be Atzilus. It's a step. It's 4 rungs in a ladder. Do you follow so far?
Yeah.
Okay. So our Maimah comes along and says a weird thing.
Can I ask a quick shiloh?
Eitan, 1 second. Let me just finish with Elimelech, and then I'm going to address you. Okay? Bli neder. Now, what follows, accordingly, Kriyas Shema is lower than Shemini Esrei. Why? If it's 4 rungs in a ladder, and the beginning of davening is Asiyah, and the second part of davening is Yetzirah, and the third part of davening is Bria, and the highest part of davening is Atzilos, and Kriyas Shema is before Shemini Esrei, so then Kriyas Shema is lower than Shemini Esrei. But it's complicated. Complicated is a complicated word. Why is it complicated? Because although Kriyas Shema is in a lower world, and Shemini Esrei is in a higher world, Kriyas Shema is the Chochmah and Bina of the lower world, and Shemini Esrei is the Midas and Malchus of the higher world, right? In other words, if we would use the language of Yud Kei Vav Kei, Kriyas Shema is Yud Kei of Bria. Shemini Esrei is Vav Kei of Atzilus. So in terms of the map, Shemini Esrei is higher than Kriyas Shema because it's in a higher world. But in terms of the Kavanah, the kavanah of Kriyas Shema is higher than the kavanah of Shemona Esrei, because the kavanah of Kriyas Shema is Yudke, and the kavanah of Shemona Esrei is Vavke. Did you understand what I just said?
Yeah.
Clear, right? Good. So, the Maimed is trying to understand how that works. Why is it that Kriyas Shema is a higher aspect of a lower world, and Shemona Esrei is a lower aspect of a higher world? And the answer, in short, is because Kriyas Shema sets up Shemona Esrei. Shemona Esrei is in a higher world, no doubt about it. But Kriyas Shema does something for Shemona Esrei that, at least in one aspect, is higher than Shemona Esrei. What is that? That is, a Jew has to call out to Hashem. Calling out to Hashem is like screaming. After you call out to Hashem, you bring Hashem into your life. Calling out to Hashem, that's Kriyas Shema. Shemona Esrei is bringing Hashem into your life. So bringing Hashem into your life is the highest thing. But because you're bringing Him into your life, it's the lower level of the highest thing. It's the Vavke of Atzilus. Calling out to Hashem, which comes before, is a lower level because you're not yet on the higher level. But the phenomenon of calling out to Hashem is Yud-K, is the highest aspect of each world. So that's why Kriyas Shema is in a lower world, but it's a higher level in the lower world. And Shemona Esrei is in a higher world, but it's a lower level of that higher world. Did you understand?
Yeah.
It makes sense to you?
It's a little bit complex, but I understood it.
Okay, so now let me now proceed. Okay, Eitan, what's your full name, Eitan? Eitan Chaim?
Listen.
Eitan Nisim. Okay, it's your fault that I don't remember your name. I just want you to know.
You're right, it is.
You're guilty. Wait 1 second. Wait. I'll get you. I promise you I'm going to get your question. Now, let me tell you something else, Elimelech, Meli, as we're talking, okay? One of the things you learn about in Hasidus and in Kabbalah is that we don't believe that our relationship with Hashem is about running away from the world. We don't believe that our relationship with Hashem is, in order for me to be closer to God, I have to stop being in the world. We actually believe the exact opposite. We believe that the greatest thing a person can do is live in this world and bring Hashem into it. Does that make sense to you?
Sure.
Okay, so the way this plays out, that's the difference between Kriyas Shema and Shemona Esrei. Kriyas Shema is us running away from the world. Kriyas Shema is us crying out to Hashem, forgetting that there's a world, and just screaming out to Hashem and say, I want to have a relationship with you. Shemona Esrei is the resolution of that. Shemona Esrei is after you scream out to Hashem to have a relationship with the Eibishter by running away from Him, then you have an exercise of bringing Him into your life. Which is why Shemona Esrei has 18 or 19 brachas. And according to Kabbalah, I got to turn this ringer off. 1 second. I'm sorry. And according to Kabbalah, every single bracha of Shemona Esrei is a different kavanah. Atachoinen is chachma, hashivenu is bina, slachlanu is chesed, re'enavanyenu is, every bracha has a different meaning kabbalistically, because what you're doing in Shemona Esrei is bringing Hashem down. So when you talk about Kriyas, if I ask you what's greater, Kriyas Shema or Shemona Esrei, the answer to that question, to quote you, is it's complicated. Kriyas Shema is for sure greater than Shemona Esrei because Kriyas Shema is Mesiras Nefesh. Kriyas Shema is Yud-Kei of Hashem's name. It's running away from the world. It's crying out to Hashem in a simple and a raw way. But running away from the world is not the purpose. It's running away. Shemona Esrei is not crying out to Hashem in a radical way, but Shemona Esrei sets Kriyas, but Shemona Esrei brings Hashem into our life. That's why Shemona Esrei. Why do we ask Hashem for health in Shemona Esrei? Why do we ask Hashem for parnasa in Shemona Esrei? Because when you get health from Hashem in this world, you reveal them in this world. When the Eibishter feeds you in this, when you daven to Hashem and say, I need food, and Hashem gives you food, so you think you got food from God, but what you got is God. You brought Hashem into the world. So Shemona Esrei and Kriyas Shema interface. They bounce off each other. In one way, Kriyas Shema is much higher. In one way, Kriyas Shema sets up Shemona Esrei. But in another way, Krishma is sort of like an escape. I'm running away from the world. And the point is to bring Hashem into the world. This Maimed is intent on explaining what I just told you in Kabbalah language. Kriyas Shema is the Mesiras Nefesh level of Bria. Shmoyne Esrei is the living life level of Atzilus. So Shmoyne Esrei is higher than Kriyas Shema. But it's different. Because in Krishma you're doing the Mesiras Nefesh aspect, and in Shmoyne Esrei you're doing the living aspect. So when the Chachamim came along and took these two mitzvahs and coupled them together, when they decided, you know what, let's not say Krishma at 6 o'clock in the morning and Shmoyne Esrei at 9 o'clock in the morning, let's do them together. What the Chachamim were doing was setting up a link between what Krishma brings to the table and what Shmoyne Esrei brings to the table. Krishma brings to the table the idea of crying out to Hashem and running away from the world. Shmoyne Esrei brings to the table bringing Hashem into our life and living a life in this world with the presence of HaKadosh Baruch. Was I clear?
Yeah.
Okay, that's my job. Eitan Nisim, bevakasha. Chavod, your turn.
Toda. I have two shilas. I would think myself personally that when you say Hashem Melech, Hashem Melech, Hashem Yimlech Le'elam Vod, I think in his retrospect, I think that's kind of the highest piece of davening.
You're a Sephardi tahor, huh, brother?
I'm not Sephardi.
I know. Okay.
But I'm saying the fact that like you're telling yourself and you realize the fact that the Eibishter was before you, the Eibishter right now, the Eibishter will be. I'm saying that's like a whole different chinas, a whole different category of anything else in davening. So in fact, you're saying the Eibishter was Eibishter, the Eibishter is Eibishter right now, and you will be Eibishter.
You're not saying the Eibishter is Eibishter. You're saying Eibishter is king. Be careful.
Oh, yeah, Eibishter is king.
Eibishter is king.
Right.
King has definition. King is a kind of a relationship. It's in fact a quite limited relationship. You see, here's the deal, Asan. People who do not care about Kabbalah, and there are such people. There's a whole movement of people, some people are very learned actually, that just don't consider Kabbalah part of Judaism. They don't. Davening is a hodgepodge. It's just a bunch of words thrown together in what looks like quite an arbitrary order. But if you study Kabbalah, and you study Hasidus, which explains Kabbalah and brings Kabbalah forward and adds to Kabbalah, you understand that there's a very careful order to all of this. Okay? Let me ask you a question. How many times in davening do we say Hashem Melech, Hashem Melech, Hashem Yimlech?
You say it by Hoidu, I think.
Before Baruch Sha'amar. Then you say it again in Yehi Chavoid. Did you notice?
Yeah.
Right? And there certainly parts of it, in Aleinu you say Hashem Yimlech Le'elam, right? So you actually say this more than once. You know why I say it more than once? Because there's a lot of levels in it. So without going into all the intricacies of your question, because it's never going to finish, I know there's a great song, Hashem Melech, Hashem Melech, Hashem Yimlech, from some guy. I don't follow.
I'm saying that I have no clue.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure. If you're not a Sfardi and you don't follow music, so what is it that attracts you to this tefillah? But okay, that's neither here. It's not important. You should know where something is in the siddur tells you what level it is. There are so many things in davening that we say over and over again. We're not just repeating words because we ran out of poetry. Every word that you say in davening twice, like Micha Moicha Ba'elam Hashem, Micha Moicha Neder Ba'Kedesh, Neder Silas Eisifel, you say it in Naz Yosher, and you say it again at Shoresh Mitzvas Hatefilla. They're very different kavanas. Because, they say in real estate, what is it about real estate? You know anything about real estate, Eitan? Nisim?
Real estate is all about location.
Location. Shmoyne Esrei is the same thing. Location. Hashem Melech, Hashem Melech, Hashem Yimlech, what you say before Rosh Hashanah. I'm very happy that you like that prayer. I mean, I'm happy that anybody likes any prayer. Its location tells you that it's the Madreg of Haidah. I don't have time to tell you what that is, but that's a siyah. When you, 2 pages later, in Yehi Chavayit, say it again, it's a different Hashem Melech, Hashem Melech, Hashem Yimlech, because that's already Elamai Yetzirah, with a different kavanah. The words mean something different. And that's how the davening evolves. And that's what I don't know who decided to join these four parts of davening. The davening ladder has four rungs. Originally, there were four things, and then they were glued together to be coupled, from Heidah to Psukei de Zimra to Bechas Krishma Krishma and to Shemini Esrei. And in my imagining, they happened separately. First, the Chachamim decided to daven Shemini Esrei. Then the Chachamim decided that when you say Kriya Shema, you should say bracha before and after. Then the Chachamim decided that every day you should say Pasei Chesed Yadach Masbir Chol Chai Ratzon. You should thank Hashem and praise Hashem for all that He gives you. And they made a bracha before called Baruch Shama and a bracha after called Yishtabach. Then they added the stuff from before. And then later they coupled them. And in coupling them, in joining them together, they revealed not just what they mean, but how they evolve. You follow? Now, let's go back to our point.
Can you clarify one thing for me, just so I can understand better as we're continuing? It's how the Rebbe Rashab explains in Torah Shalom Sefer Sichos that tefillah and davening is different. What I'm trying to say is that according over here, that tefillah, according to Tzemach Tzedek, is the same as davening.
I don't know what you saw in Torah Shalom. I would like to see it inside.
I'll show it.
You're sure it's tefillah and davening, not tefillah and avodah?
Oh, it's tefillah and davening. It's in Yiddish. It says tefillah and davening.
Okay, so B'Pashtus it means just saying the words and connecting to Hashem. You're asking Hashem for your needs, which is a superficial level of davening, and just connecting to Hashem. The Tzemach Tzedek means both of them. It doesn't mean one or the other. But the correct answer to your question right now is I don't know. Okay? Now, let's go back to the point. The point is, we're going back to the point. The point is that we have a meeting between Krishma and Shemini Esrei. And because of Meli's question, we really flushed out the question, the issue. Kriya Shema is a higher level in a lower world. Shemini Esrei is a lower level in a higher world. Why? Kriya Shema sets up Shemini Esrei. When you're saying Kriya Shema, you're screaming out to Hashem in what amounts to a Mesiras Nefesh type cry. In davening, in Shemini Esrei, you're not crying out to Hashem. You're bringing Him into your life. You're asking Him to give you health. You're asking Him to give you parnasa. You're asking Him to give you wisdom. You're asking Him to give you forgiveness. You're asking Him to give you tshuva. You're asking Him to give you all the brachas in the world. You know what my favorite bracha Shemini Esrei is? Did I ever tell you this? If I'm did I ever tell you what's my favorite bracha Shemini Esrei? My favorite bracha Shemini Esrei, and nobody even notices it, is Ala Tzadikim. You know why? Because Ala Tzadikim is about Jews. We're not asking for Mashiach. We're not asking for new judges. We're not asking. Ala Tzadikim is Hashem should like us. Al Tzadikim, V'al Chasidim, V'al Zikti Amcha Beis Yisrael, V'al Prince Beis Ephraim, V'al Geri Tzedek. What's the next word? After V'al Geri Tzedek. V'aleinu. V'aleinu. Ala Tzadikim, we're poshet davening for Yidden. I know no other bracha of Shemini Esrei that the entire teichen of the bracha is about Yidden. It's Mishon or Miflach Tzadikim. The bracha is about Jews and their betachen. But it starts off with Tzadikim, so you figure he doesn't mean me. But Ala Tzadikim is a bracha for ourselves. So in Shemini Esrei, we daven for many different individual things because we're bringing Hashem to us rather than running away. Okay? Now, let's get back to today's message. Today's message is that when it says in the Medrash, Eilav Alayla Midaisav, when it says in the Medrash, when you daven, make sure you're talking to Hashem and you're not talking to His Midas. We have two meanings of Eilav Alayla Midaisav. We have the Eilav Alayla Midaisav of Kriyas Shema, and we have the Eilav Alayla Midaisav of Shemini Esrei. The Eilav Alayla Midaisav of Kriyas Shema is a higher level in a lower world. It's the Yud Kei of Bria. The Eilav Alayla Midaisav of Shemini Esrei is a lower level in a higher world. It's the Vav Kei of Atzilas. What's the difference? Eilav Alayla Midaisav of Kriyas Shema, when you're saying Shema, and it's the Yud Kei of El Mabriya, you're crying out to Hashem Himself. So Eilav Alayla Midaisav means you're relating to Hashem that has nothing to do with the Esespheres of Atzilas.
Rabbi, I need to go.
Okay, just 1 second. Okay, fine. Get into it. You're the guy in charge, or you're just one of the joiners?
One of the guy. Nobody hosts.
Okay, so this class is not going to disappear when you do.
I just want to let you know.
Okay, I'm going to miss you, but hey, thank you for coming. Yeah, the Eilav Alayla Midaisav of Shemini Esrei is we're actually asking Hashem to come into the Midas of Atzilas, because that's the whole idea of Shemini Esrei, Kavana, to bring Hashem down. So in Shemini Esrei, when you say Eilav Alayla Midaisav, Chas v'Shalom to daven to Chesed, that's Avodah Zorah. Chas v'shav, the daven to Gevura. That's Avodah Zarah. You're davening to the Ein Seif, which is Mislabish and Chesed and Gevura. Okay? That's the point of today's class. And Melly, I'm happy that you joined. I hope you don't get frightened away. I'll have all the patience in the world to explain things to you. In 2 or 3 days, you'll be up to speed. We've been doing this since Pesach. So you're joining in the middle of a trip. If you'll stick around, I'll make sure you get it. I'm telling you, I give you my pledge. Okay? So that's what we just read. So I'm going to ask you to indulge me. I'm going to finish the class in 1 minute. I'm just going to say I'm going to read again these words. I'm starting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines from the bottom of the page. V'zehu iker hapirush b'maimin hasifri. This is the more important meaning of what says in the Medrash. Ela v'loi l'midois. You daven to Hashem and not to His midas. We have 2 translations of that. As that applies to Krishma and as that applies to Shemini Esrei. As it applies to Krishma, Ela v'loi l'midois means Hainu love mamish. You're talking to Hashem Himself. V'hu, which means Muhusei v'atzmusei yizbarech. The Eibishter as it is by Himself. Shalamayla gamkim, which is completely removed. Meharosei hamelubeshes v'yutzfiris, when He comes in the 10 spheres of Atzilus. Says the Rebbe Vainu b'Kriyas Shema, that's in Krishma. She'oz and in Shema, Kavana Seinu, our Kavana is Laham Shech Adam Yisham Mamish, to bring down a light from Hashem Himself, which is higher than Atzilus. And then when you get to Shemini Esrei, you have a different Eilah v'Leilah Mideisav. Because in Shemini Esrei, the Eilah v'Leilah Mideisav is not. I'm talking to Hashem that's removed from the spheres, but rather Eilah v'Leilah Mideisav means how Hashem is coming into the world. And I'm careful to point out that I'm davening to Him and not to His midas. Was that clear, Rabbi Say?
Yeah.
We're good?
Very.
So I'll see you tomorrow.
Very
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Chazak,
Thank
my
you for having
pleasure.
us.